I'm so excited about the future.
Authentic, personal, and really meaningful relationships are part of the engagement economy and building a great company.
Mobile first, mobile all the time. That's number one.
Data is really becoming the currency.
This is the app economy made real by the Internet of Things. It's here, and it's now.
Because at the end of the day, whether it's you or me or the CEO or somebody in the top floor or someone on the shop floor, we want everyone to be able to run their business from one of these.
We work for the greatest marketing technology company in the world.
Officer, Steve Lucas.
Hello, wow! Oh! Unbelievable! Give it up one more time for Live Lab. That was amazing. Wow. Unbelievable. I was doing that back there. You just couldn't see me. That was awesome. They were dancing on the tee. It was unbelievable. Welcome to Marketing Nation. Welcome. Wow. This is a crowd. This is the Woodstock of marketing, hopefully minus the drugs. So we're in San Francisco, who knows? I'm from Denver, so, mi casa, su casa, kind of a thing. So I'm Steve Lucas, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of Marketo. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be at my own first Marketing Nation. This is unbelievable. Thank you for just being here, for your energy. I was backstage. I had half a Mountain Dew. I am wired right this moment, and hopefully that'll work itself out 30 minutes in, but thank you for being here. And maybe just a quick introduction, then we're just going to get right into it because we have an action-packed, leadership-filled agenda today. I've been in enterprise software for 25 years, and it has been my dream to be the CEO of not just any company, but a company that makes a difference. And what meant a lot to me at Marketo was, number one, the Marketing Nation. They told me about this mystical land where all these amazing marketers show up. And I'm like, okay, so you're selling me on the company. You're like, no, you don't understand. This is like crazy awesome. And I said, okay, so watch the video. I didn't have to do anything more than watch any Marketing Nation Summit and see your passion. And I was like, okay, I got to get me some of that. So here I am, and after 25 years of being at Marketo for almost 6 months, then SAP for 7 years, Salesforce.com, Business Objects, and Microsoft, I have found my calling. This is home. I love purple. I got one of these. It's amazing. So it just goes. It's awesome. And I want to welcome everyone back to Marketing Nation Summit. Now, I say welcome back. This is kind of an interesting thing because many of you have been on this journey with Marketo for many, many years. In fact, now this is going to sound interesting, but about 30% of you attending today this is not your first Marketing Nation Summit, but 68% of the people in this room, this is your first Marketing Nation Summit. Everybody, welcome. Welcome. This is awesome. So we're in good company together. We get to attend Marketing Nation. The suspense has been killing me, so I'm excited. It's also our largest summit ever. We have over 6,500 attendees here. We're totally breaking every fire code, I'm certain, in this room. It's awesome. Exits are to the left and to the right. So should you need them. But otherwise, you're staying because we locked the doors. So 6,500 attendees. Here's what's fascinating. So we've got the best marketing leaders and practitioners and thinkers in the world right now. We also have over 500 chief marketing officers here today in this room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That is unbelievable. Oh, by the way, 500 chief marketing officers, another over 500 for 1,000 SVPs of marketing, CMO, and then, of course, we have everyone, all of the thought leaders in marketing, the analysts. We have more analysts than ever. We have more press than ever. We are so deeply honored that you are here. It means a lot to me. I'm just like goosebumps right now with the how many people are here. It's unbelievable. So thank you for being here. And I also want to thank all of our partners here at Summit. It is so incredibly important to us because Marketo has one firm belief beyond elevating and helping the marketer win, and that is we are an open platform. We are an open ecosystem. Open wins. Open always wins. That has been proven out in 40 years of software technology and, frankly, every other platform. Look at Legos. They're just fine. Why? Because they're open. And so that's the way it is. And so we're going with the Lego model, and that's it. And a big thanks to all of our partners. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart because they have absolutely just made this conference possible. And we have an unbelievable lineup. the world's biggest brands are here. They are you. And some of them will be joining us on stage, some of the world's biggest brands, and some of the world's best marketers. In fact, I'd say all of them are probably here. They're not at the Yellowco conference. And the reality is, we know that. They've got a few less people, some cats that do tricks or something. I don't know. I heard. So we've got all that, and we've got amazing guests that will be talking to you and me today about their own personal brands and their personal journeys. It's going to be amazing. Now, you've heard a lot about this thing that we've been talking about called the engagement economy. And in just a moment, that's what we're going to talk about, is how do we lead in the engagement economy? That's number one. But beyond that, we're going to hear from people today who are leading in the engagement economy, that are actually doing it today. Many of you and leaders on stage. And then we're also going to hear from some amazing, both new and old, but new partners as well as longtime partners of Marketo's that are going to enable us to even further win and lead in the engagement economy. So we're very excited about that. And we'll take a look, lastly, at Marketo's new engagement platform, which is the very technology that will help every marketer, every single one, from the CMO to the marketing practitioner, build brand, grow revenue, and prove impact. And that's what we want to walk away with today is, holy cow, Marketo is totally focused on helping me build my brand, drive my revenue, and prove my impact, and do it like a rock star. And so we're going to jump right in and talk about this notion of the engagement economy, because it is real. It is palpable. We can feel it. We're in it. It's all around us, actually. And the engagement economy, it starts with us as marketers, all of us. It is admittedly a thrilling, exciting, sometimes terrifying, but ultimately amazing time to be a marketer. And yes, there are challenges as marketers. We know that. There are challenges every day. If you think about it, every day we read about or experience firsthand the peril, and sometimes, and mostly the opportunities that we have as new technology emerges and new ways of reaching audiences emerge and change the way that we do business. And if you think you got a handle on all the new technology that enables you to connect with a buyer, wait 5 minutes. It'll change. We all know that. We know that better than anybody. And I've been in this business for a while. As I said, I've been in enterprise software for 25 years. I actually got my start as a field marketer for Microsoft. I would show up. One of the coolest products I ever demoed was Microsoft Dogs. And the best-selling feature of Microsoft Dogs was, this was a big deal in 1993. You'd open the CD tray. That was a thing. You'd take the CD and put it in, and you'd close it and go, the program will open on its own. That'll be $59.95. Thank you very much. That was where I got my edge in marketing. I don't know about you. But back then, if you talk about what social media in 1993 meant, it literally meant watching television at a bar. It was like that kind of combination. And the apps were the food that you ordered. And nowadays, definitely not. It's very different. And let's face it, back then, things were a lot easier. They just were. You'd print a coupon, go home. You'd be fine. Someone would use the coupon. You're good. But think about it. We had the luxury of time. We had that. The big decisions that we made back then could literally unfold over days or weeks or even months. We know that. But think about it now, this moment. I know someone in this room is typing away or responding to a critical tweet that someone put online about your brand right here. Please don't, because this is cool too. Do it out, but feel free. Unless it's disastrous, then you should probably do that. But today we're making more complicated decisions than ever before. And as marketers, we're required to do it in seconds. We don't sit around and go, well, yeah, we'll get to that next week. No problem. Let's wait for the story to unfold. No big deal. That's not our life as a marketer anymore. It's just not. But I think we should take a moment, a brief moment, take a little walk through history. How did we get here? How are we here today in this unbelievable world of timing, second by second, our marketing decisions? First and foremost, let's go back. So this is a little further than 25 years of enterprise software for me. This is some of the earliest marketing messaging. This is literally a billfold that they would hand out in Rome. advertising the gladiators. Like, big event coming up. Big giant person number one trying to kill big giant person number two. I guess that's what, I don't speak Latin, but I'm guessing what that, or it's like, watch me put my hand in a tiger's mouth, and I guarantee that person did not survive that ad. So dangerous advertising, a little safer, but we go all the way back to the times of Rome, and there were marketers, the very first ones. Now, there were brands before that, but marketing then was handwritten. It was one-to-one. And then, of course, came along the printing press. Reaching larger audiences through print became the norm, and we're still using, just much faster, printing presses today. We are. We still get those coupons in the mail, whether you want them or not. You still get them. And beyond the printing press, then, of course, came the advent of digital media, the advent of television and radio. And this iconic ad, which I love, this like speaks to me. This is for those of you that don't know, Google it. It's the 1984 Apple ad that you can get on YouTube now. But this really changed people's mindsets in terms of how they thought about a brand. Apple at that moment became the most iconic, if not one of the most iconic brands then. It certainly, in my mind, is the most iconic brand in the world. And so this advent of radio and television really brought about mass communication for the marketer. Now, of course, today, digital marketing is the norm. That is it. It's a way of life where we reach literally millions of people at a time in a moment. I guarantee with this collective audience and the number of Twitter followers we have, if we just wanted to tweet like, hey, we could probably reach 10 to 20 million people in 2 seconds. With this, no exaggeration, with this crowd, the number of followers, we started to try and add up the number of followers, and we're like, that's going to be super hard. Might be creepy if we tell everyone that, so we'll just tell you it's a lot. So it's a lot. But think about it. Just 10 short years ago, 10 years ago. Now, I know someone's going to go, called it, but just give me a second. 10 years ago, who would have imagined that we'd have a single social network, Facebook, that part we could imagine, but that Facebook would connect nearly 2 billion, with a B, individual human beings on a single network? Would anyone predicted that 2/7 of all humanity would use a single app? Yet here we are, 10 years later, poof, it's the norm. We show up on Facebook. You can find out how many Diet Cokes you've had today. Super interesting stuff. And all the while, we get to do things like walk around in our pocket with literally a global library, a library of every song ever made. Now, Steve Jobs' famous line was, we're going to put 1,000 songs in your pocket. Think about where we are today. Every song is in your pocket. What song can you not get? It's amazing. So every song in our pocket, or better yet, that developers would be releasing 60,000 new apps for buyers and consumers in mobile marketplaces per month. 60,000 new apps. It's amazing. That is the breakneck speed and pace at which we are working where we are today. And while this broad sweep of history that takes us from the Roman Colosseum to a coffee shop where engineers are literally converting caffeine into code, there are some key points here that are reinforced. First and foremost is this hyper-accelerated pace of change that we've experienced in our careers. It's actually been building up for a while, centuries. It just so happens that it's very acute and very pronounced today. While change was measured in centuries and then decades and then years, we know that it's now seconds. And up until now, technology, as a second point, has inspired people. It's brought us closer together. We have friends. Now, admittedly, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, I have a lot of friends. I think I know 19 or 74, somewhere in there that I've met physically, where I'm like, "Hi, how are you? Let's be LinkedIn buddies," or Twitter buddies. But that's not a thing, by the way. I know. But beyond that, we have literally 13,000, 12,000, 5,000 of our closest friends. So we have that. And it's brought us closer together. And what I love about technology is that it's torn down the old barriers of distance and language and learning and culture and time. And it's given voice, frankly, to the voiceless. And we want that. We want people who don't have a voice in this world to have one. That's what I love about technology. It just changes the world around us. I love that. And beyond that, throughout history, technology has been driving, or has been the driving force of human knowledge, understanding, tolerance, and yes, even wisdom. And yet now, we've reached a point in time. We've reached this point in time where many people fear that tomorrow's technology will lead to exactly the opposite. Greater income inequality could happen. Retrenchment into silos and potentially a loss of the personal connections that we value most. I think we all kind of inherently know that there's a point that you get to where we start to lose that one-to-one, that connection that we have as human beings, and we don't want to lose that. We want to preserve, protect, and grow that connection and leverage technology to do it. Undoubtedly, we do. That's the greatness of it. And this matters to us, certainly at Marketo, but I know it matters to everybody in this room as human beings and as marketers, because at the same moment that technology is making it easier for us to reach mass audiences, our audiences at the same time are more focused than ever before on being treated as unique individuals. And I'll ask this of you or us, not as marketers, but as human beings, as consumers, as buyers. Don't we want to be valued? And don't you know when you're not being valued, that moment when you're like, whew, that doesn't look good, or it doesn't feel good? We know that. So our industry's great challenge, the great challenge in our time for marketers, is to leverage technology, of course, but without technology reducing us and the people that we work with, our buyers that we care about, to numbers instead of people. It is about people. So how do we do this? How do we do this? This is the whole point of leading in the engagement economy. And one of the challenges that we face is that even as our world has changed at this breakneck pace, we've largely been constrained by the same concepts and the same laws, which we're about to talk about now, that we've had since the days of Rome and before then, when we were handing out pamphlets. The first thing that we're still fighting, and we do this every day as marketers, is the law of supply and demand. Oh, how we love that. It took me about 7 years to really figure out it was real, but it is real, and now I embrace it. So we've got this, and we've always focused on creating demand as marketers. And it's still the case, even as our world has evolved from one-to-one to one-to-many to digital. The problem and the opportunity, but the problem right now is the supply curve. But in one particular instance as marketers, the supply curve is the challenge when it comes to attention. It's a finite number of human beings on this planet, and we have a fixed amount of attention. Attention just doesn't get larger. We have 24 hours a day. We only have so much that we can pay attention to. And as we are appealed to daily, the reality is that our attention spans may be shrinking. Intentionally even. We may need to focus more because we have so many things coming at us. And part of the reason for this is simply how voluminous, even loud, but how voluminous and loud our conversations have gotten. Think about it. If everyone is shouting in this room, could we pick out one single person's conversation? No, we couldn't, because of the volume, because of the noise. If we're all shouting, no single voice stands out. And buyers today are literally, and we know this because we are buyers, not just marketers, but they are bombarded constantly at virtually every moment you wake up. Now, truth moment, how many people check their phone before they get out of bed? Okay, everybody. Good. I felt like I was alone. Okay, everybody does. And from that moment, how many people check their phone? No need to show hands again, because I know the answer, right before you go to bed. And how many people check their phones in the middle of the night when it beeps and you're like, this could be a totally amazing tweet. Nope, never mind. We're good. It happens. It just happens because it's 24/7. We are bombarded from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep, and many times in the middle, and thank goodness for that little midnight sleepy time function on my phone. But another reason is that buyers have far greater access to information about us. They have far greater access than ever before. Meaning that the buyers are more sophisticated. They're more empowered to make their own decisions. We know this to be true. This is the age of the buyer. The buyer has a louder voice than the brand, and to be clear, that will never change. There was a day where we could take our marketing budget and outspend the voice of the buyer. That day is gone, and it is never coming back. And the third reason for all this is that in the life of an age of social media, the reality is that social media has gotten very gritty, very raw, and very authentic. It is. Just watch for 5 minutes. And people don't view the world through the rose-colored glasses of a glossy magazine ad or a 30-second video that is well choreographed. The reality is that people live it through their cell phone. That's how we live our world now. It's our lens, that everything that we look through. And they're sharing their content with everyone. They're sharing it with not just their friends, but the world. And sometimes that content is tragic. It is. Sometimes, many times, it's inspiring. I know, you just have to wait. I sent my wife the other day this little kangaroo video, and this little person had a little pouch, and it jumped in it, and they were holding it, and that occupied our attention for a solid hour. That was very cool. But the point is that it's always real, even the baby kangaroos. It's always real. And one of the hardest things for a marketer to do is to reconcile these profound changes, everything going on, with our day-to-day reality of doing our jobs. We have to do that. We have budgets to spend. We have goals to meet. We have in an arms race for finite attention. Unilateral disarmament of everyone. You know what? Let's just stop tweeting. No biggie. Let's just put it all down. That is not the option. Because digital marketing has been incredibly effective to date. It is. It's effective. So what do we do with digital marketing? We invest more. And we invest more. But the reality is that as we invest more, we run into a second fundamental law, which we all know. You're like, Steve, with the rules. We run into another fundamental law, and that's the law of diminishing returns. And we've reached a point where volume is losing its ability to help our brands, or build our brands, and drive revenue. In fact, the more volume that we send, that right there, that law of diminishing returns, has the potential to turn negative. Why wouldn't it? If I have received 9,742 emails from a company that I do not want to send 9,000 or get 9,742 emails from, and I get that 43rd, where's that baby going? Boom, spam filter. That's where it's going. And so our engagements over time need to be more scarce and frankly more valuable. And this is the risk that we run. So we need to accelerate through this. And how do we know it? The reality is that it doesn't, although we have a stack of marketing studies, all it takes is for us to look in the mirror. It's you. We're all living. We know this. This is one of those truths that are self-evident. Endless emails to you, ads that follow you around inexplicably from your desktop to your phone to your laptop. Hey everybody wave hello. Looking good. And my favorite part is those Saturday morning cold calls. I love those. At 7:49 in the morning. They know where I live. Why are you calling me on my sacred pajama day while I'm in my pajamas at 7:49? But as my kids will tell you, I actually do enjoy taking those calls. It's my one time to have a nice conversation with someone I don't know about something I don't want. So those are my favorite. And it's not just that volume is making marketing less effective. It's really more than that. Volume actually creates risk of doing damage to our brands. Volume, unchecked, can damage our brands. It's one of the things that buyers tune out. And increasingly, we're seeing our buyers just fundamentally opt out. Not because they dislike the brand, but they dislike the volume. They don't want to feel like they're being sold to. And all this means is that we have to stop applying the old thinking and the old practices to our new reality. And remember this, in this hyper-accelerated digital jungle that we are now in, buyers still want to be marketed to. I love a good marketing message. You know it when you see it, when you're like watching that. Now, I've heard when you're at altitude, somehow it makes you more emotional, and I get a little weepy when I see those Hallmark commercials on television. I'm like, oh, I love my family. But, you know, there's those. But I'm talking about those ones where you see online, on television, in print, or that engagement, which we'll talk about in a moment, that just speaks to us. The reality is that not only do people want to be marketed to, they are desperate, really, I think we are, to forge a real and lasting relationship with brands that get me, that get us, and share our values. And that's really what it's all about. But the big difference is that everyone has to, in this room and beyond, start embracing that we are no longer able to prescribe the terms of the relationship with our buyers. Those days are gone too. Buyers are in charge. We work for them. At Marketo, we work for you. And in a world where the marketer works for the buyer, which is the world we're in, we are the steward of the buyer journey, and our role is to carefully curate a beautiful experience for the buyer where they are literally, they feel like a baby chick in our hand, and we're just carrying them around, loving the little chick until it becomes a chicken, and then we eat it. So there is that. I just wrecked it for you, didn't I? So there we go. So buyers are absolutely in charge. And this is the engagement economy. This is what we are talking about. This is what you will read about, what you will hear about. And engagement is not a new word in our industry. We know that. In fact, it's become a bit of a buzzword, but it is reality. Now, buzzwords can be like any Harry Potter novel. Everybody reads it, and we've got different takes on Voldemort's motivation, and what about Snape, and was he really doing it? You know, we have those different takes. Those are heavy debates in my household, I want you to know. So what do we mean when we talk about the engagement economy? We mean that engagement is curating a personalized and meaningful experience in whatever medium, at whatever time, our buyers wish to engage. It requires a new way of thinking, a new way of listening, and yes, a new way of learning. Engagement is not transactional, it is transformational. And put another way, it means that we must embrace the fact that the finite supply, that fixed supply of attention, is not going to expand overnight, just magically creating more market for us. Instead, we must give everything we have as marketers, every ounce, every passion of what we have as marketers, to making our small share of that massive global attention as meaningful as possible to our buyer and to us. And put another way, let's start thinking of marketing as a carefully curated experience, as we talked about, for the buyer at every stage of their journey. And we know creating a beautifully choreographed experience is not happening today at scale. It's not. There are too many marketing tech, MarTech products out there, too many sales tech products out there, and there's this old truth in political polling that by and large, 80% of people in the United States, when they're polled, say, Congress is not doing a good job. But those same people, 80% of them vote to put their congressperson back in office. How is that possible? But it happens. I'm not saying vote libertarian or anything. I'm just saying it's just, kind of an interesting observation. And there's a similar trend in marketing. So there's a study that Marketo recently commissioned that found that 83% of marketers say that their organization's engagement efforts are effective. We say, totally got it. Engagement. That's interesting. But the very buyers of those brands that we surveyed, 51% of them said that their companies could do a better job at engaging. So there's definitely a disconnect going on here. What does it tell you beyond there's a disconnect? Well, it tells you we're spending too much time talking to buyers and not enough time listening to buyers. And this opportunity for us in this room, as marketing leaders, we know valuable engagement when we see it. It's what attracts people. It's what moves them to choose us as brands. And it feels real, not artificial or contrived. It's real. So engagement ultimately is about two things. It is about value and it is about values. Customers care about the products they are buying and also who they are buying them from. They want to know that the leadership of the brands that they buy from and their values align with theirs. And we as marketers, we have to maintain, curate the values, the virtues, the attributes that human beings know. We have to do that. And not only know, but want, while providing, yes, speed and functionality. And we must win share of not just mind. In the world of marketing, aren't we vying for share of heart? And my example is, so a big shout out, I love Apple. Now, I have this debate with my son all the time because he likes Android. And if you talk to them, have the conversation, I love Apple because of my experience. I love it because I'm connected with and I know everybody's going to say, Google has that too, and that's true. It is true. Google provides a great service. We love Google too. But I love Apple. And intellectually, I get it when we're having that conversation. Yes, I know the camera's better, and the shutter speed is like 8 billion times a second or something, and it has more memory, and I can't swap out the hard drive. But I'm sorry, I just love the brand. It's just cool. You know, it's a cool TV thing with the dude in the string dancing. I mean, I just love it. And they've connected with not just my mind, but my heart. And when you do that, it's tough to change in a good way. But obviously, every brand is not Apple. And all of us can start by adopting the new rules of engagement. And there are really 3 new rules of engagement that we as marketers can embrace today. The 3 rules are, number 1, now this first one may sound like very obvious, but listen to your audience. This is number 1. From unknown and known across every single one of your digital channels. If we are to prepare for a future, which we know is coming, 10 years from now, think about those 10 years from Facebook. 10 years from now, there will be a global digital network where the personal preferences of every connected human being on the planet will be accessible by marketers. That will be here. And not just people, things. So we have to embrace this new way of thinking. We have to build the digital personas and profiles of individuals and businesses so that we can thrive in that world. So listening across every digital channel, paramount. Invest the time and the money and the resources to bring every relevant fragment of audience data and behavioral information together so we know everything about our buyers and potential buyers in terms of what they're trying to tell us. That's the first new rule of engagement. A great example is Revel Systems, one of our great customers who's here. They won one of our annual coveted Revy Awards this year for centralizing their data from literally dozens of ad channels and Google AdWords to understand and improve performance by carefully listening. And I love that. Beyond that, is learn. So first we talked about listen, now we're talking about learning. We must, as marketers, embrace the inner data scientist within us. We must. Turn everything that we've listened to into insight, because insight about what truly drives lifetime value for your customer is gold. And in fact, customers for life and something that we call brand advocates, it was at the center of that target there a minute ago, are 1,000 times, studies have proven out, 1,000 times more valuable than an impression, or a lead even, or even a prospect. So we must learn. We have to bring our own data in from third parties, bring our own data in from our own sources, and learn from that information. And for everything we learn, we need to change what we do and how we measure. And lastly, on the learn is American Kennel Club. Everybody loves puppies. It's true. So American Kennel Club, AKC, uses Marketo today to reach new puppy owners. I just love this. We're going to go with the kangaroo theme, but we couldn't find like an Australian kangaroo society that used Marketo. Literally engages every new owner of a puppy with a puppy development schedule. Don't you love that? And they accompany owners through critical milestones during the first year with their puppy by giving them timely information. And AKC has learned that by creating a valuable brand relationship in the first year with their new puppy owner, it is the key to lasting engagement. They get more donors coming back that aren't just adopting puppies, but are giving to the AKC. And we absolutely love that. Now, I want to stop real quick before we actually go on to learn. We talked about brand advocates. I'll just ask you all a question. We know how our marketing campaigns are driving impressions. Do you know how many brand advocates your company has? Could you tell me right this moment who they are? Where are they? What are they talking about? And how they're influencing your brand? If not, then now is the time to learn. And last but not least, beyond listening, learning is inspire to engage, or inspire through engagement. Think of every touch point your company has today. If you were to go to your website, your mobile app, make a phone call into your inside sales team, whoever it is every engagement point inspiring? And if the answer is no, then we have the opportunity to improve. Take the concept of engagement beyond customer. or prospect, because we believe in the world of engagement, and you'll see this today with the engagement platform from Marketo. You will see this, that our engagement platform technology that we are delivering will help you win and lead in the engagement economy. And we must engage at all points. Yes, marketing, but also services, support, sales, and operations. And it's up to us in this room to drive that engagement, because the truth is, people are the main drivers of engagement. People. So as we build our campaigns, as we integrate our new marketing data into our process, think about how we leverage people in the model and process of engagement. And Lennox is doing exactly that. Lennox Heating and Air Conditioning. So Lennox Heating and Cooling, love Lennox, another great company. So they leverage Marketo not just to drive a marketing campaign or push out email or listen on social, but they reach business owners, salespeople, consultants, and technicians who support and sell their product, all with Marketo, and in turn interface with customers. Yes, of course, one of the many uses of Marketo. This digital portal enables them to reach people as part of the engagement process in their campaigns. And so, as we start engaging, your stories to us make it clear. The people in this room today are the leaders. You are driving engagement, but let's ask ourselves one more time, how are we engaging? Are we building the right process? How are we bringing in not just our customers and our prospects, but our employees, our partner, our people into the process of engagement? Marrying the human and the digital. How are we doing that to improve people's lives? And how we can do it today is, number one, start engaging by focusing on value, not volume. Two is by thinking of every single human being that you do business with as a potential brand advocate, that beautiful, amazing engagement at the middle. By dedicating people in your organization to the topic of engagement. And we start engaging by making engagement a core part of every marketing process, every conversation that we have, by listening, learning, and inspiring. And our commitment at Marketo is to help you lead in the engagement economy. We are all in this together. We are here for you. I am so humbled to have the opportunity to speak to you for a few minutes today, to share this first Marketing Nation for me with you. It's been truly an honor. You are inspiring. You are amazing. You mean so much to us, and we are deeply grateful for you. We are going to have an amazing rest of the day. It is going to be unbelievable. You'll hear now from some of the world's best marketers, some of the world's greatest brands in terms of how they're driving engagement. So I am thrilled to move on to the next section, but before we go, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Now, joining us on the stage as we want to lead and inspire is an amazing panel of people. And that amazing panel of people is led by a friend, actually, who's become a friend as of the past month or two. Her name is, it's the best last name ever. How can you not like a person that has, the last name is Good Friend? Like, really? It's a super good warm-up. Like, I want to change my name to Steve Superbuddy or something like that. It's just like, really? So we asked Jamie Goodfriend, who's the CMO of Wonderman, to join us on stage and to lead a panel. And we have amazing marketing executives from Hootsuite, Autodesk, and Hakkasan Group, who really, we felt, exemplify the new rules of engagement. So if we could give our panelists, as well as Jamie Goodfriend, the biggest Marketing Nation welcome they have ever heard. Please welcome Jamie Goodfriend. Welcome.
I love that. Nope, no clicker. Hello, Marketing Nation, year 2. I'm so excited to be here. That was amazing. I should start drinking Mountain Dew. I think that's my new trick. So we live in this time of increasing transparency and decreasing trust. Steve asked you, everyone here has their phone, which means as customers, as consumers, and as marketers, you know that every one of you has access to the best of everything, 24/7. Not only do you have every song on the planet, you have the best stories, the best shoes, the best puppies. Whatever it is, you have access to the best of everything. Which means that in the engagement economy, people are not going to settle for average. So your job is to start to shift and provide the best experience possible for the people on the receiving end of your messages. We actually at Wonder Woman call that wantedness, and it lines up exactly right with the engagement economy. So on that note, the idea to think about is people think this way. I want you to want me, and to prove it at every step of the customer journey. Simple, right? Well, I have the great honor of introducing a panel of amazing thought leaders who are going to help us bring this to life. So I'd like you to give them a big warm round of hello. Come on out. Penny Wilson from Hootsuite. Jeff Wright from Autodesk. And Tracy Nalwak from Hakkasan. Woo! Thanks, guys. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll just say it's all good. Whatever happens at Marketing Nation stays at Marketing Nation. We'll do it this way. It's all good.
Did I take your seat?
You know what? Doesn't matter. We're going to go this way. How about we just flip it, and I'm going to go over here, and we're all good. Okay. So I'm going to start with, let's do this way. Listen, learn, and inspire to engage. Who better to talk about listen than Penny Wilson from Hootsuite, the best at listening. So Penny, I've heard you for years. I've been such in awe of Penny. She's a thought leader extraordinaire. And I've heard you talk about listening to consumers as developing something that you call social harmony. Can you help us explain why listening is so important?
I would be happy to. Thank you, Jamie. I'm very excited to be here. So as marketers, we are no longer in send mode. We are in receive mode. We live in a world where our customers are always online on any device in any location. And like Steve said, they expect an immediate response. And that sense of real-time response, it isn't a nice-to-have for an organization anymore. It's a must-have. How many of us expect our package from Amazon to arrive the next day? Or when we order up an Uber or a Lyft, we expect it to be there within 10 minutes. But it's more than just the hyper-connectivity. It's really about that human-to-human connection. And that's why it's so important for marketers to be authentic, to be personal, and to be relevant. You know, like any personal relationship, it really starts with listening. I try to tell my husband that, but... and, you know, social provides this really unique opportunity to learn who your customers are and what they want. And, you know, it's unlike surveys and focus groups. It's really access to this unstructured data that, when structured, actually provides you the unvarnished truth at scale. And once you know who your customers are and what they want, then you can determine what you should share with them or how to engage with them. And we call it memorable customer moments at Hootsuite. Those opportunities that you have to really shift a perception of a customer or give them something that they want so that they in turn will share it with somebody else. And, you know, you can't just go to Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn and just read all your tweets. You'd be like drinking from a fire hose. But there are tools, like Hootsuite's tools, which allow you to really set certain criteria and really evaluate and look at the conversations that are happening and determine what those memorable moments are. And then finally, I think that it's time that you empower your whole organization. It can't be just the job of a social media manager or a social media team to really listen. You really need to give your whole organization the tools, the training, and the content to engage with your customers. And that's why I said that, you can have your whole organization, marketing, sales, customer support, product, really work in social harmony with your customers and listen to them and learn from them.
That's a powerful reminder for all of us. And I think what's also interesting is when you take that listening and then you find a way at scale to learn and apply it. So listen, now we're on to learn. So Jeff, I do want to point out that this is other than the fact that you are the only gentleman here, this is a very strong female panel, so thank you, Marketo. Gotta love, woo! Love that, right? Love this. This is so great. You're the smartest man in the room at the moment with 3 women. So Autodesk has quite an interesting mission, and I think this is really fascinating when I was doing research. Your mission is to imagine, design, and create a better world, which I find so inspiring. So how do you, with data, analytics, learn? How do you take what you're learning, and how do you apply it to fulfilling that very, very big mission?
Yeah, so our mission is really to help others do exactly that, imagine, design, and create a better world. And we provide tools that help our customers in the manufacturing sectors and building and infrastructure, media and entertainment do exactly that. And one of the things that I think is becoming increasingly true for our customers is that their data that represents those projects, right, that really fill your lives are at the center of what they do. It's becoming increasingly their most valuable asset. And that's happening for us too. I think it's probably happening for all of us in our businesses, that the data that represents your customers is becoming among your most valuable assets. For Autodesk, who has over the last few years made this pretty significant change in our business to be a pure SaaS subscription business, it's even more important for us. The distance between us and our customers has to shrink. We have to be more direct. We have to sort of be continuously engaging with them. So to understand them well enough to be effective at that requires understanding them at a level that we didn't before. So data about our customers has become vital. So stitching together the data sources that we can, both internal and external, to create that holistic picture, to give us that understanding so that we can then treat them in a way that is authentic and relevant and helpful to them, is really becoming the center of what we're doing in marketing and other functions at Autodesk.
And people know what's possible. I mean, we have a much smarter consumer base across the board anyway. So when you don't live up to those expectations, it's very disappointing for them on the receiving end. So I look at that and I think, okay, we have Hootsuite, we have Autodesk, and then we have a company, Hakkasan Entertainment Group, that your product is literally inspiration and engagement, and that is no easy trick. I mean, you better know that I like a margarita when I walk in the door, because, and I do, but I think it's important, especially in the hospitality business, it's so competitive. How are you shifting? How are you really tapping into listening, learning, and engaging to deliver a much better experience?
Well, I think it really starts at the organizational level. It's really important for an organization to put the customer at its core being, to be honest with you. Especially us being in the hospitality industry and the entertainment industry, we have millions of customers every year that come through our doors, whether they're nightclubs, restaurants, lounges, day clubs. And if we don't have the customer right at the core of our being, then we're never even going to get to the second place. The second place to me is really kind of moving in and really starting to understand how important it is for us to know even more about that customer. We deal with millennials. We have our group, it's a little challenging. We have over 60 venues globally. And within, we have 33 brands. So just within itself, that's kind of a matrix from hell, like as it relates to, oh my God, where do I go? Layer in, almost 1 million millennials, and next thing you're like, okay, what do I do now? But no, it's, we do have some challenges, but again, being in the hospitality industry, we have to make sure that we put our customer at the core. So what we've done recently, is partnered with a group called Solomon Solutions. And Solomon has come in, and we really wanted to start to look at the personas of our millennials. Millennials are really, really interesting. Millennials really are they're creatively inspired, they're explorers at heart, and they really want to be influenced. So we really started to look at, instead of just looking at them as a ticket buyer, or let's say a general admission ticket buyer, and reaching out to them once they buy a ticket, they get their e-ticket, and maybe they have a cross-sell banner on that email, is taking it to the next level to really feed into them emotionally. And so what we've done is take something that's very basic, like, okay, you're going to go buy a ticket, but now we need to make it more about feeding that emotion of that millennial. And so what we've done is we've created a campaign. We call it our VIP Wannabe. And while we do have table guests that spend actually quite a lot of money for a table to party next to Calvin Harris as an example, we want to be able to increase that level of service even for a ticket buyer. So what we've done is we've created a program where every single ticket buyer now has an assigned concierge. And through technology, we're leveraging Marketo, the technology, to obviously with the millions of millennials that we have, to communicate on a one-to-one basis as if they have their own personal concierge assistant. So they buy a ticket, they receive a communication from their concierge. The concierge is making the millennial feel incredibly important as it relates to providing additional access, providing a level of service, and really being kind of I don't want to say the man or the woman. When you come to Vegas, Vegas is all about connections, and so it works really, really well for the millennial market.
I like the idea of having a personal concierge for everything. And I guess if you get social listening and you get engagement correct, then you're going to have that. Really quickly, so as we wrap up, love a final thought on value. Steve talked about the new metrics of value. Is this ROI? Is it engagement? How do we evaluate that in this new engagement economy? Real quickly, and then we'll get on with the rest of Marketo's day.
Well, yes, I think you have to look at customer value, business value, brand value, but and I think that the systems of record and the systems of engagement are kind of coming together. But I guess I'll go back to my memorable customer moments. Those are the things that I think really turn the dial.
Thank you. Jeff?
Yeah, this is an area that my team is putting some extra energy into right now to try to understand how do we better measure engagement in a way that matters to the audience, to the customer. I think we, like others, there's these sort of surface level metrics that we rely on because they're easy to get, measuring monthly activity, right, or time spent in app, right? So they're not irrelevant, but they don't really get to the heart of why are customers doing business with us. So really trying to understand and find the metrics that align to their interest, to why they're doing business with us. This is an area that's it's challenging, but trying to find the signals in the way they use our tools that show that they're actually getting more productive would be an example of that. Right? So and fortunately there are advanced analytics techniques, as long as you have the data, that allow you to sort of find those patterns. Right? So we're increasingly trying to use these methods to go beyond what I think are increasingly becoming more vanity metrics that don't really help you understand how well you're doing. I think it's going to be important for all of us.
Which is hard to do in an organization of your size and your legacy, which is challenging. So we commend you for that. And so finally, let's take it home, Tracy. Value at Hakkasan, beyond the personal concierge. How do you guys evaluate that?
It's really loyalty at the end of the day for us. If we are building the right relationships on a very personal level with our customer, that then just drives loyalty.
Great. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We're going to say goodbye and thank our panelists for a great, great moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you. Awesome job. Great job. Thank you. Tracy, Jeff, Penny, everybody give it up for them. And of course, our good friend, Jamie Goodfriend. Amazing. Love that. So as the good times keep rolling here, now we have an outstanding guest speaker as one of the thought leaders in technology in general, as well as engagement. Recently, you may have heard that we struck a big partnership with one of the largest software companies in the world, Infor. And Infor has been doing an unbelievable job of transforming how they engage with their customers through their customer experience technologies. And so we are thrilled that the CEO of Infor will be joining us here today on stage. And earlier this year, Marketo launched a new partnership with Infor, where we are jointly integrating our technologies on the CRM, customer experience, and of course, marketing side into one integrated suite. So, if you could, please welcome Charles Phillips, the Chief Executive Officer of Infor, to the stage. Charles. Fantastic. Charles, everybody, Charles Phillips, please give him a warm Marketing Nation welcome.
Thank you. Well, I had to show you our new TV commercial that starts today on MSNBC and NBC as well. You're the first audience to see it, so you previewed it. We'll start this afternoon. So we are excited about being here in our partnership with Marketo. I want to explain why we chose them and what's going on and the reason behind it. But the bottom line is there are a lot of non-digital industries that need this technology. All of the concepts we've been talking about today, we're in a good position together to go to these other industries, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But a little bit about Infor first. So we are the third largest ERP company in the world, business applications, about 16,000 employees. We're headquartered in New York City. 90,000 customers around the world, and we operate in a lot of countries. So we have a lot of scale. Big cloud business we've built over the last 4 years. We've shifted our business to the cloud. 70% of our new business is cloud-based. We have 65 million subscribers on Amazon AWS. We're one of their top 10 customers in the world now. So we've been doing this for a while and moving pretty fast in the cloud. Our specialty is we build applications by vertical, so certain industries, and to put it more precisely, by micro verticals. So think of SIC codes. So that last mile functionality that's nuanced and complex on how people build products or service customers, we build that into the cloud application. So we are half industry specialists, half technologists. So in each one of these industries, for instance, take healthcare, where 72% of the hospitals in the U.S. run our applications. To do that, we have to understand hospitals pretty well. So we have a chief nursing officer, we have a chief medical information officer, we have many clinicians on staff. So we learn these industries very well. So lots of data about industries and how they run their business, what their challenges are, and who their customers are as well. What we sell them is, on the right-hand side, the horizontal applications, things that all industries need, for instance, financials, HRs, et cetera, and our CX suite, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then we have a lot of applications on the left-hand side in blue that are highly industry specific. So we automate assembly lines, for instance, retail process, point of sale, healthcare, clinical integration, on and on and on. So thousands of applications that go very deep in these industries, which gives us access to a lot of important data that will become relevant in just a moment. So we're in a great position to watch how these industries are evolving because we're so tailored by industry. And what we've been saying is, at first, they were kind of ignoring the digital disruptions and the changes in industries that were happening because it wasn't happening to them. It was happening to the music industry, to television stations and the media industry, and I've seen that up close. I'm on the board of Viacom Corporation, which has been interesting of late. But nonetheless, those were industries that people thought, okay, that makes sense, but it doesn't really affect aerospace and defense or automotive and all these other industries. That's changed. So what they're asking us to do is to take them through a journey on digital transformation, and engaging with their customers in a different way is part of that. So that's kind of our mission in life, is to help these companies go digital. And we understand their business. We've automated their business with transactions. Now what else? This is what they're after. So how do we do that? So the first thing we do is, let me introduce our customer experience suite, and this is where we're going to partner with Marketo on. So on the left-hand side are our marketing products that we already have today. And so let me start and just describe these so it makes a little more sense. So MRM, Marketing Resource Management, we help create that category. So if you look at all other areas and functional areas of a company, especially in finance, there's always been budgeting and planning applications to help you get better organized and have a plan. That didn't exist for marketing. We help create that. So this is the place where all your marketing campaigns are stored, all the artifacts associated with those campaigns, the planning, the budgeting, all the analytics and ROI. So for professional marketers, they need their own performance management application. We built that. So Gartner, right-hand quadrant, we lead that segment. Then we have omni-channel. There's digital channels and non-digital channels, the campaign span, all of that. I'll talk about that in just a moment, but we orchestrate and plan across all those channels. And then we have something called Interaction Advisor. That's real-time offer management. So large companies like Microsoft use this for real-time upsell and cross-sell on their websites. On the right-hand side, we get into the sales applications. We have our CRM application that runs in the cloud, thousands of users. I'll talk about that in just a moment. And something called Configure, Price, Quote. So a lot of these industries that we automate, they have complex products with lots of options on them. You have to make sure that you configure a bill of material that can be built. You don't want to order something that can't be manufactured. So it's a rules engine, essentially. And then contract lifecycle management, all the entitlements around that product. You want to make sure that it's priced correctly and all the services are there. That sits on top of a common platform. Ion is an integration platform, and then Mingle for collaboration. Think of that as a kind of a chat engine. Then I want to talk about kind of how we think this is going to interact eventually with Marketo. So we have a whole data science and predictive analytics layer. So what does that mean? Well, we have a science lab on the campus of MIT, the Innovation Lab. We had a guy named Dr. Nesmaldin. He's our chief scientist. We now have about 70 PhDs in our company, and they run the N4 Science Labs. And what they're doing is machine learning and predictive analytics across all of our industry, looking for ways to add value and automate more forms away and do things like inventory optimization, for instance, customer segmentation, pricing. In this area, what they're doing is microanalysis of customers. So hyper-customer segmentation, we think that's fundamental to targeting. Fundamental to future engagement is to personalize the engagement more. And the way you do that is understand your customer base better. So they're analyzing with lots and lots of attributes in the cloud with these algorithms that they've built over the years, propensity to buy, price insensitivity, purchase sequencing, which is people buy products in a certain sequence and when they're in business in B2B, depending on what they're automating or what they're building. Conversion rates, margin contribution, and ETA sensitivity is a big one that we're seeing more important. People will buy a product if they can get it today or tomorrow. They may not buy it if it's 3 months from now. How can you use that information to better market? All this is data and attributes that we think is relevant. So if you think about where we sit, we have lots of data about how people are automated, how their processes work, lots of data about their customers, what their challenges are, where they're trying to grow, what their risks are. So we want to take all of that, of course, and partner with Marketo to engage and market with these companies better, help them talk to their customers in a different way, in a digital way. A lot of these companies in wholesale distribution or in some parts of manufacturing are just getting started in B2B marketing. And they're lucky or probably ahead of the curve if they have 10% of their business is happening online. But they know that's about to change. So we want to take that rich data that we have access to and have an execution engine so we can take that micro-segmentation that we have and deliver it in a different way online. So we think it's a missing piece for our strategy. I've known Steve for years. Marketo is a leader in this space. It's a natural partnership, and it's a real partnership. So we have funded and committed roadmaps on integration together. We have targets together, go-to-market plans together. We don't do these partnerships very rarely. This is only the second one we've ever done. So this is actually pretty important for us, so that's why I wanted to be here in person. But there's more. So there's more data we have access to because the engagement economy is also going to interact with something we call the fulfillment economy. So what does that mean? Let me first explain. So we have a direct commerce network that connects people who own products, like a brand, and people who build products, because everybody's outsourced to contract manufacturers around the world in Asia or Europe, someplace else. And this network has a lot of those participants, those businesses are on the network. So there's almost 30,000 businesses on this network, and people who have the brand owners, when they order a product and they want it built, it has to be sent to a manufacturer. They have to get information on work in process, for instance. They want to be notified when there's an advanced ship notice. They want to have all this happen automatically online so they know where products are, the track and trace of all these products. So all this used to happen in one company 30 years ago, but everybody outsourced, and now no one's vertically integrated anymore. So you have to have some network to bring these companies back together again. So this is how products get made and shipped, and we track it down to the container on the ship. We can tell you where it is. If it's on a truck, and we generate all the payments around that, about 40 banks on the network. So 95% of the world's ocean capacity, the shippers are on this network, most trucking companies, most air companies. So we have a lot of information also about where your product is, where it is in transit, has it been made yet, do you have capable promise, can you make it in time? And the reason all this is important is we believe over time, you're going to market products based on what you can deliver as well. That's an important factor because some customers will wait a day, some customers will wait a week, some customers won't buy at all if they don't know information about when that product can be delivered. And the more information you give them about the status of the product, the more likely it is they can wait. In B2B industries and complex products, this is a major challenge, just knowing where things are and knowing if it can be made and delivered. We want to bring this up into the marketing arena. So we're the only company that has scale in each one of these components, how you make a product, how you move it in logistics and get it there, and then how you market it. So a lot of those companies that are contract manufacturers on the other side of the world are using our products for manufacturing, no matter what types of manufacturing that it is. And then the logistics around delivering that, we have that data as well. And then the marketing, we're going to obviously partner with Marketo on that. So we call that network commerce, and how the fulfillment economy is going to engage with the engagement economy. So let me show you a little bit more how this manifests itself in real life. So this is our CRM application, the front end. And unlike most CRM applications, this is designed more recently, so a modern look and feel. But we have access to a lot of other data that most CRM companies don't have access to. So we can tell you about the configurations. We can tell you about the inventory. We can show you in transit where the product is. We're going to render all that on the screen. Obviously, this is where the leads are going to land. But we think there's something better that we can do. We should rethink how salesmen use this data as well. We want to get it out of marketing at some point, and somebody in the sales force is going to have to interact with it. So what does that look like? Well, we want to move from Salesforce automation to sales rep maximization. We want one application designed by reps for everything they need to enjoy this marketing data and optimize it and change the way they behave and interact with the system. So here's our idea. This is called Project Max. It'll be available by the end of the year. So take all these applications, whether it's SFA, CRM, our CPQ, Configure Price Quote, B2B commerce. We have a commerce platform called Rhythm. We also do other things. We have an expense management platform. So time and expense should be on the same application. You shouldn't have to go somewhere else. Service data. Mingle's our collaboration platform, on and on and on. Siri applications, we want to interact with that so you can talk to the phone for a lot of these interactions. You shouldn't have to actually punch anything in. LinkedIn integration, so you can do prospecting at the same time. iMessaging to message with your customers, social listening, and all the APIs to get that market data on one platform. And then take advantage of the platform. We have a microphone, we have a camera, we can do transcription. We should be able to automate more work away. So let me give you an example of what that looks like on this mobile application. So first of all, using voice on Project Max, you can basically have a chat bot, but actually chat. You want to ask the system, what are the top 5 customers that I haven't talked to in the last 30 days? I'd like to know who those are. It responds like a chat bot, pulling that data forward for you out of the system. Another example, control automation. We know your calendar. We can have access to it right on the device. We know who your customers are. We know your task list. Why don't we make you smarter as a sales rep? So while you're in the car and we can tell you have 38 minutes or 48 minutes before your next appointment, remind you that you need to call Wade. We know the subject because you put it in your task list. You want me to send them this white paper while you're waiting. We can do that for you. And meeting preparation. This is a big one for reps. They want that marketing data right before a meeting. So in this, what we can do, since we know we scheduled a meeting for you, we know who the customer is, we can notify you that here's the last conversation you had with them. Basically, here's the last order that you placed with them. Here's a quote that was pending. Do you want to see all the marketing interactions? How often they've been engaging with the system the last time they downloaded a white paper? All of that we surface while you're going to your meeting. And because we have all that back-end data, we can let you know before that meeting, hey, you have an order that's delayed. It's in transit. Do you want to see where it is so you can have an intelligent conversation with that customer? Well, of course you can, because we have the Commerce Network. We'll show you exactly where it is and what ship it's on right in the same application. And then in-meeting transcription. You're in a meeting. What we want to do is, if you want to record that conversation and then tag it, so we automatically generate action items, for instance, and we can take note of exactly when the meeting took place, what location, what was said, follow up and generate a task list for you after the conversation. It's all, we have the power to do all that on the phone. Why not take advantage of it in one application? And then we have access to the back-end marketing engine and the product information management system, part of our commerce platform. If you want to use this as a selling platform and turn it into a customer-facing application at that moment, we can render the catalog for you, complete with pricing. You can actually have an order cart right there and take the order and show a customer and configure the order for them right in front of them in a collaborative selling tool. And then we can do the simple things. If you're at dinner, we know which customer you're with, and we know what the pending quote is. Let's take a picture of the receipt generated in our expense management application. You shouldn't have to write anything in. So we're trying to rethink all this, use all this marketing data to get smarter, use it to make the sales rep more productive at the same time, bring the marketing people close together with salespeople because we have access to both, and we have access to all that rich back-end data. Let's just fill out the forms and be a lot more proactive and automated in general. We also have taken advantage of the messaging application there. Again, we know that if you're messaging a customer, you might want to send additional data. You have a quote pending, you want me to send the contract, or should I send the configuration, just a reminder? All of that data is already, we have access through the phone anyway, through the back-end data that we're CRM system. Why not render that and we get a lot more intelligent? So this is kind of how we're thinking about how to take marketing data and sales data, blend it for a different experience to hopefully have higher conversion rates with customer. This data is usually scattered all over the place. Sales rep has to go searching for it. Marketing people go searching for it. So in the end, a lot of times they just don't do it. This should be rendered in the context of how they're already working. So we can do this all day long. We can have alternative UIs, and some of you are interested in seeing some of this. We have a separate subsidiary in New York that is a creative agency. So New York is a great place to find designers of all type. Fashion companies are there, advertising companies are there. And all these schools there for design schools, they all have technology tracks now. So we hire those people who came to New York for design, and we put them in Hook and Loop, which is our design agency. And so all these alternative UIs and chat interfaces, we have lots of them. And all our applications have an API layer, so we can have as many as we want and let them innovate on top of that. So if you don't like what you see here, we can always change it, is the point of that. If you want more information, come see us in New York. But we're excited about delivering all this with Marketo. You can see we have a lot of information, a lot of big plans, and a lot of ways we can deliver value with Marketo. And thank you guys for being here.
Charles, thank you, my friend. We are so excited. Thank you. We're going to do big things together, Infor and Marketo. One more time for Charles Phillips. Thank you, Charles. That was fantastic. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome our next guest, and we will be sitting in the virtual living room that we have assembled here. I like it. It's very casual, cozy. When I think about iconic brands and best marketers in the engagement economy, undoubtedly one of those brands or names is Amazon. I checked this morning, and Amazon has a market cap roughly twice the size of Walmart. Not bad. Good start. So these are the brands that come to mind. And in the world of technology, Amazon Web Services is really redefining much of how we think about, how we build, and how we engage with technology. If you could please give the warmest of Marketing Nation welcomes to the worldwide Vice President of Marketing at Amazon Web Services, Ariel Kelman. Ariel. Welcome. Welcome
Steve,
to Marketing
thanks for having
Nation.
me.
Should we go to the living room here?
Absolutely.
Wow, awesome.
They're excited to be in your living room.
Well, yeah, I know. It's so cozy. I love it. Need a smoking jacket or something. I mean, it's great. Some slippers.
Manhattan might be good.
Yeah, it's nice. So Ariel, now you're from the Bay Area, right? You live here.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I think the question on everybody's mind, I don't know, but do you get a discount at Amazon?
Unfortunately not. We like to keep the employee freebies low so we can keep prices low for our customers.
Oh, my gosh. Look at that.
I know. It's no fun.
That's great. All right. You get a discount. I know you do. So that's... Well, welcome. We are.
I should look into that.
Yeah, you should look into it. So you've heard a lot today about us talking about engagement as a topic in general. And I've watched you and your career. We used to work together a while ago, but I've watched you just skyrocket, and I congratulate you on all your personal success as well as the success of Amazon and AWS. How do you think about engaging with customers and prospects?
Sure. Well, so for us at Amazon and AWS specifically, it really starts with this customer obsession philosophy. We always like to start with the customer and work backwards to what we should do to help satisfy their needs. And for us, this really translates into a marketing approach that's focused on education more than it is marketing or pitching or selling or pushing our ideas. And the way we look at this shift to cloud computing is that it's essentially the biggest technology shift of our lifetime. And there's a lot that people want to know to be successful. So for our prospects, we really focus on getting educational information out there through social media channels, through our PR efforts. And when they get to our website, we try and really keep that educational approach going and go very light on the lead reg forums and letting people browse and really consume the content. And when we look about engaging with customers, we really focus on helping them on this journey to adopting the cloud computing solutions they want, running more and more of their workloads on the AWS cloud, making sure they have all of that customer success and technical education content that they need in order for them to do the things they want to do on our platform.
Awesome. Well, I know, and on top of that, I mean, you have an incredibly unique experience in terms of how, and I know I've actually, acquired an AWS instance myself to try out some different things, and it was just amazing how seamless the experience was, even though I was bouncing around at different points in my own buyer journey. And we've talked about engaging buyers at every point in their journey. How do you think about the difference between marketing and engagement?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this a lot, and it's really about providing value to the customer. And if you're providing value to the customer and marketing at the same time, that's a win for both sides. But the way we think about this is that we want to make sure that what we're doing is working and is actionably useful for our customers. And then at the same time that we're delivering value, we also have to guard against the other side, which is to doing marketing activities that diminish trust. And so in some ways, we've rolled out a marketing engagement approach that is intentionally frustrating to our marketing teams around the world. And that is that we go to extraordinary lengths to make sure that we're not over-engaging with our customers and we're getting that balance right.
That's awesome. So you intentionally are kind of frustrating some of your marketers?
A little bit.
I like it. A little bit. That's good. A little creative friction. So one of the things that I love about, obviously not just Amazon, but AWS in particular, it's almost an instant brand. It's just, you say it, there's values associated with it. When you think about creating advocates for that brand, how do you think about, or I guess what's important to you or to AWS in terms of creating real brand advocates for your technology?
Sure. Yeah, so when I think about brand advocacy, I mean, the difficult part of it is you can't fake customer success with marketing. So that's got to be the first step, is having very successful customers who are passionate about your company and will run around and evangelize for you. And so that's why we have this focus on doing everything we can to make sure our customers are successful, and then giving them an opportunity to really show their leadership, whether it's at our executive events, having customers that are chief information officers that have gone through a transformation of their entire IT infrastructure, giving them an opportunity to mentor people who are earlier on their journey, or having hackathons where developers can share skills and play around with our technology with their friends. It's giving them those opportunities to really make themselves stars in their industry.
Now, I know on top of that, I know that you guys use Marketo. which is great, and you've used it for quite some time, actually. So how are you leveraging the technology of Marketo to ultimately deliver on those goals and that promise?
Yeah, so we've been big users of Marketo for a while now. We have over 350 users in about a dozen countries. We send around 10 million emails a month, and we've put together a pretty unique model where we've tried to balance making all of our global teams self-sufficient in being able to use our email marketing platform and our lead management platform on Marketo, but at the same time having that governance. That's where a little of the frustration comes in, as we want to make sure that people don't do things like, send Japanese emails to our French customers, for example. And so, yes, having all that rich functionality in the Marketo platform really helps us let the people not be blocked by a central organization, but still have the central organization really keep a high bar for quality of execution. And I think the other piece I want to touch on quickly is the integrations. And that's one of the great things about the Marketo platform is it's been easy for us to integrate with a lot of different systems. I think most importantly, the marketing data warehouse that we have with Amazon Redshift. And this really pulls together all the information from our website, from our Salesforce automation tool, from all of our different platforms, and allows us to drive really the targeting that we're doing inside of Marketo. And then the seamless integration we have with Salesforce for lead distribution, and then even the integration we've built with a custom app we've developed to do machine learning models for lead scoring, which has just been transformational for our conversion rates. And I think lastly, the last piece I'll call out is the work we're doing on nurturing. And just to kind of close on the customer success part of this, one of the biggest things that we think we can do to help our customers is after they sign up for a new AWS account to try to nurture them to be successful. And we can detect what they're doing by looking at the usage of the platform. And if we see places where they're stuck, we can start to push educational materials to them to help get them unstuck. And with over 70 products that we have, this can get pretty complicated. And so we think this nurturing is really going to be a great tool and a great approach to really help our customers be more successful running more in the AWS cloud.
Awesome. Well, Ariel, we look forward to Amazon and AWS and your continued collective success. I want to thank you for joining the Marketing Nation today and talking about your unique approach to engagement. So everyone, Ariel Kelman.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Ariel Kelman, everyone. It's happening. Now, one of our big focuses at this event was to make this more than an event. In fact, we talked a lot about if it's going to be the biggest Marketing Nation Summit ever and the best Marketing Nation Summit ever, how do we make it the most engaging Marketing Nation Summit ever? So we talked about this in the context of engagement as an event. So we started calling it internally an engagement event. And what became clear to us that was striking a key partnership with a company that is synonymous with engaging events and success in event engagement is Cvent. And we are also very fortunate in that the gentleman that you are about to hear from is also a board member of Marketo, which we are very excited about because we have incredible alignment and complement. But it is my distinct pleasure to welcome the founder 18 years ago to this, I guess, month or year of Cvent, none other than Reggie Agarwal. Reggie Agarwal, come on out. How are you, Reg?
What's up, Steve? How you doing,
Welcome.
my friend? How's everything?
My friend. So, I know there's a lot going on, but Cvent, you guys have, there's some unbelievable stats that we were talking about earlier in terms of accomplishments and things going on. What's going on at Cvent?
Well, we've been pretty busy. We've been continuing to grow, and we're excited about being here today because this is the epitome of one of the best engagement conferences you can do.
This is indeed. Well, with that, I welcome you to Marketing Nation, and I give you this.
Well, thanks, Steve.
Thank you,
I appreciate it. Well, good morning, everyone. And Steve, thank you so much for the warm introduction. I have to admit something to all of you. I'm a little nervous right now because I've never spoken in front of 6,500 people before. And naturally, I was practicing at home a lot. So the other day when I was practicing, my wife overheard me, and she gave me some sage advice. She said, Reggie, stop trying so hard to be so witty and charming. Just be yourself. Now, I'm sure James Corden is backstage right now saying, it's going to be pretty darn easy to follow this guy. But seriously, though, I'm very excited about joining Marketo's board of directors, and I'm even more excited now that I can feel the passion and energy at this event. Now, over the last 45 minutes or so, Steve's been talking about the engagement economy. And when you think about all the marketing channels that you have to engage with your prospects and customers, meeting someone face-to-face, like at this event, breaking bread, and looking someone in the eye is the most engaging marketing tactic that we all have available. Because at the end of the day, people like to do business with people they know. My name is Reggie Agarwal. I'm the CEO and founder of Cvent, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to leverage technology to amplify the power of human connection. Now, let me start by giving you a little bit of research on just how important events are in driving your business. According to Forrester Research, a typical B2B CMO spends almost a quarter of their marketing budget on events, making it the largest marketing category. But most importantly, that money is being spent wisely. Because that same study went on to say that next to your website, events is the most effective marketing channel that we have. So it's no surprise that almost 95% of C-suite people all agree that with events, whether it's a user conference like this, whether it's a product launch, whether it's a seminar, it's effective in driving revenue, leads, and brand. I mean, think about it. When you have your user conference like this, or when you do a large marketing event, your CEO and the rest of the C-suite is normally there to engage with prospects and customers because nothing beats meeting them face-to-face. But often, events are viewed as tactical and standalone. They're not measured. They're not optimized. There's no attribution to revenue like other marketing channels. Now, if marketers embrace event technology, events can become more strategic. They become an integral part of the prospect and customer journey, and they become measurable contributors to revenue. But more importantly, events are no longer expenses on your income statement. They become assets on your balance sheet. Now, it all starts with what I call capturing your digital footprint. So let me give you an example. We're all marketers here. So let's say I went to your website for 3 minutes. You'll know exactly where I clicked, what page, and how long. If I downloaded a white paper, opened up an email, you have great technology that will let you gather all that data. But how come CEOs are just tracking the digital footprint? What about the physical footprint? Think about it. You're tracking my 3 minutes on your website, but then I go to your event and I'm spending 12 hours with you, or like a conference like this, I'm spending 3 days with you, and maybe we spend thousands of dollars. I mean, it's a real big commitment people are making when they come to your event. And so their physical movements are a strong indicator of their interests and their willingness to buy. So to truly understand your prospects and your customers, you need to track both the digital footprint and the physical footprint. And at Cvent, we like to call this voting with your feet. So now, how do you track the attendee journey? If you look at this slide, you can see the entire event lifecycle. Pre-event, during the event, and after the event. And that journey, the attendee is giving you some of the most valuable data that you can ever collect as a marketer. For instance, you can look at their pre-registration survey questions. You can see what sessions they're attending, what exhibitor booth they visited, where they're going on the mobile app and where they're tapping around. And when you capture all this data, we call this the attendee profile. For instance, if you capture this data, you need to make it for sure actionable. Now, what's the best way to do this? The best way to do this is to integrate your event management software with your marketing automation software, of course, Marketo, and your CRM. And this provides a more complete and holistic view of your prospects and customers. And this allows for more targeted and what we call more hyper-personalized experiences. Now, armed with this insight, marketing campaigns and sales follow-ups can be more tailored. They can be more relevant. You can grow your sales pipeline, and you can accelerate the path to revenue. But most importantly, when you combine the marketing cloud with the event technology, events can now be measured, optimized, and you can demonstrate what we call attribution to, of course, pipeline that we all know about. And finally, you're starting to talk about what the C-suite wants to hear. Now, don't just believe me, look around you. Marketo's embracing this technology. For instance, they're offering online registration, iPad check-in. They've created a community within the Event mobile app. They're also leveraging technology to do on-demand badging, session tracking, exhibitor lead capture, and post-event surveys, just to name a few. Now, their investment in event technology will allow them to track your digital footprint so they can best know how to engage with you in the future. Let me conclude by saying we could have all stayed at home and participated in this great event virtually, but we all showed up because in the end, we're human. And we know that we love personal face-to-face interactions. So if there's one simple thing I want you to remember from my presentation, it's by leveraging the right event technology, you can have a multiplier effect on the power of human connection. Thank you very much. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, thank you. You know, it's a cool, what is today? Monday? When you bump into James Corden backstage. So that's kind of freaking cool. Very excited about him being out here in a few minutes. We have a couple other things that we want to touch on today, and I am very excited to welcome to the stage two amazing people. One is the Chief Marketing Officer of Box, Carrie Palin, and the other is our Chief Operating Officer, Greg Wolf. Please welcome Greg and Carrie to the stage. Welcome.
Nice.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, good.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is my first Marketing Nation, and I am equally as thrilled as Steve to have the chance to share the stage today with Carrie Palin, CMO of Box. Welcome, Carrie, and thank you for spending some time
Thank you.
in a little intimate gathering with 7,000 other friends.
Of our best marketing friends.
Carrie and I met a couple months ago, and when we did, she had the maybe misfortune or good fortune of meeting me with the worst case of laryngitis that I think I've had in my life. And it was great for me because it meant I had to keep my mouth shut. And it gave me a chance to learn so much about what's happening at Box. Why don't you take a minute to share some of that, if you wouldn't mind, with the folks today, with a particular eye toward how you're engaging with your stakeholders digitally, your customers, prospects, employees, you name it, open forum. Tell us more about Box and what you're doing on digital engagement.
Okay, great. So a few things real quick. I've been at Box 9 months. So the honeymoon's over, but I definitely am new to Silicon Valley and new to the SaaS universe. I spent a lot of years at Dell and IBM, and so the pace with which we're growing at Box and not dissimilar to those in the Valley, you know, our expectations for our business are about 30% year-over-year growth, and marketing is committed to growing at a multiple of that. And so it's non-trivial what we've committed to the business as far as revenue contribution, ROI, and things of that nature. And so when I came in, the things that I looked at immediately were, do we have the right team on the field? Secondarily, do we have the right technology stack to help us? And by that I mean our situation at Box is a tad unique in that our customer set is my grandmother all the way through to an IBM who has 300,000 seats deployed.
Wow.
Right? So so finding our personas, they're infinite. And so we have to be so much smarter about every dollar that we invest. And the way we do that is through great data and a great back-end stack that allows for us to get insights and predictive and using artificial intelligence so that we can hone in on folks who are in market at the right time to engage with them when they're ready to be engaged with versus wasting money kind of splatter painting the universe with the Box message. And so for us, the back-end stack, and we had actually made the decision to change to Marketo about 9 months prior to me coming in, and the transition happened right as I was walking in the door. So I've been able to see sort of the evolution of our stack with Marketo being at the central nervous system to all of it. And it's been an interesting ride. We're adding, 4 more major pieces to our MarTech stack this quarter alone to, enhance our Marketo capability.
Certainly what I saw from both your team, your strategy, and your MarTech stack in and of itself, very progressive, very modern, and congratulations on building that out And thank you for using Marketo in that process. But knowing that you're an innovator yourself personally and the company is innovating in the marketplace, maybe you can share something also that I discovered in our conversation was how you're kind of bridging that sales and marketing chasm. I know Shandar tells me, you know, how do we bridge that chasm inside of Marketo? And metrics are one way, is what we find. It brings everyone together. But I'm really intrigued by how Box and yourself personally have kind of attacked that age-old issue. Maybe you can share some best practice with us about that.
Yeah, so look, every company I've been at, it's been the same issue, right? You know, how do you bridge the trust and the partnership between sales and marketing when things are going great? Sales gets a big congratulations. When things are going poorly, marketing hasn't given enough pipeline to allow sales to be successful. And so it was, you know, my CEO asked me when I came in to figure out how we bridge that gap. And I just said, look, you know, there are a few things. Number one is it can't be a once a week that we get together at eStaff and talk about what's going on in the business. It has to be a daily thing. And so I've asked my team to literally make it part of their DNA. And we tell sales stories at every meeting we get together. What have you learned from sales? How can you apply that to what we're doing today? How do we make our whole motion better because of that feedback? And it's a continuous closed loop type of thing. But we also start with sales. So when we develop our campaigns, our SVPs of sales are sitting in the room talking about what they're hearing, how our message is landing, where it's not landing, and they develop these campaigns with us and our brand message. And so everything we're putting in market has sales a stamp of approval so that when their people are fielding questions about it, they feel confident about it. And then obviously the data is the biggest issue as far as game changing, because when we take accountability for what we're giving to them and whether it's landing or not, and then saying, look, the more insight you give us, you know, and when you're giving credit to what's coming in from a lead, if it's marketing sourced, tell us that it is, not because we want the credit, but because we want to know what type of activity, what type of content that came off of, so we can make better investment choices long term to bring you more. And by more, we then put our skin in the game and say a number. So, hey, if we're bringing you 20% marketing source pipeline today, if you do this and we believe we can get these kind of insights and data, in a year from now we'll be at 30%, and 3 years from now we'll be at 45%, and we commit to those things so that then they open up the kimono and say, hey, we want to share, right? This is a partnership, and you're going to bring things to the table because we want to sell. We don't want to develop pipeline. We want to go actually close business, get paid, and have some fun.
So it really sounds to me, as I just kind of summarize, that engagement, first of all, is a team sport. It is not just marketing. It is not just sales. And that kind of collaboration, both at the planning level, but even more importantly at the execution level, is the way to kind of tangibly bring that together. You know, Carrie, I just want to thank you for spending just a few minutes with us, learning a little bit more about Box, a lot about your innovation, and particularly about how you're bridging the chasm with sales. And I would invite all of you to check out what Box is doing. There's stuff to be learned there. We're lucky to have you as a customer, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, thank you. Gary, thank you so much. Greg, fantastic, great job. All right, now we get to look at some product. So we're going to show you guys a sneak peek of what you're going to look at in the product keynote in a little bit, much of which you've never seen before. These are new technologies, new innovations, new products that we will be launching. And I am thrilled because all of these things lead to this conclusion about the engagement platform from Marketo and how it can help us lead in the engagement economy. And if you think about it, 10 years ago, Marketo started in the world of marketing automation. But there's been a ton of innovation over the past 10 years. We know that. We already talked about Facebook and all the other things that have happened in the past decade. And a few months ago, we were really excited. We announced the next generation of the Marketo platform called the Engagement Platform, which includes our new big data architecture, formerly known as Project Orion, and parts of our Engagement Hub. And Project Orion was this big, hairy, audacious project focused on getting large amounts of data into Marketo. And we've successfully migrated many customers with the most important or pressing needs in front of them that Orion or the new big data architecture addresses in terms of data ingestion and processing. And in my first 100 days at Marketo, we increased the size of our engineering team by over 25%. and they are focused on customer success and quality, because that will win the day for Marketo beyond innovation. But throughout 2017 and beyond, we will continue to invest heavily in the platform to ensure that it scales to meet anyone's needs. Now, to tell you a little bit more about this, about our new platform, our application goals, and our innovation plans for 2017, I would like to welcome someone that you all may know, and if you don't, you will very shortly. Cheryl Chavez has been at Marketo for over 8 years. She's been an incredible leader. She is our Global Vice President of Product, and many of the innovations that you've seen and much of what you will see have had Cheryl's fingerprints and innovative mindset all over. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Cheryl Chavez, our Global Vice President of Product at Marketo. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. What do you think of the crowd?
Amazing.
Best nation ever, right?
You know it's my 7th summit?
Seventh Marketing Nation. I love that. This is my first.
Yeah. Well, I got
Yeah, it's good. It's good. So we are very excited to talk to you about a few things today. We're going to show you 5 new product demonstrations. Now, this is the lightning round, but we're going to go through 5 new products or extensions of existing products. Cheryl made me stress that too. But before we get there, just, you've been here for so long at Marketo. What's excited you about the change that you've seen? And I'll give you this clicker, by the way, for the product stuff.
Well, first of all,
Is your mic on?
no. Mic on?
Is it? No. Is the mic on? Hey! There we go.
Great. Now I have a clicker and a microphone. Okay.
I can click if you'd like. You want me to do? Okay, good.
Right.
All right.
All right. So what am I passionate about? All of you guys. I'm here to help marketers win. And, we're all about empowering the marketing nation. We want to make you all successful.
I love that. Make the marketer win. That's awesome. So today we're going to be talking about, a little bit about the engagement platform, but jumping right into product demos. So
Yep.
what's your take on the engagement platform?
Well, it started last year with the introduction of the big data architecture. And our goal was to ingest trillions and trillions of activities into the system.
Trillions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all about listening at scale. And it also includes our core automation, analytics, and adaptive engines. And this is about helping our customers learn about their customers and how they're engaging. And then we've got our apps on top of that, with our partners included there. And then they can use all that data to engage each individual effectively. But we've got a lot more to deliver this year.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome. We do, clearly, but this is, I think, the open platform that helps Marketo embrace our community, and all I know is that open platforms win. But what are we thinking about in terms of investment for this year?
So this year, we call it campaign throughput. So that's what we're investing in. And the idea here is that now that we have
Is that a code name or a thing?
No, it's a thing.
Okay.
It's not a code name. No more code names.
Okay.
So there's all these data sources and all this data that's coming into the systems, including from IoT devices. And we want our customers to execute on that data, to be in the moment with their customers, and to be able to personalize at scale. And so we think that the faster campaign throughput is going to make that possible.
That's awesome. So let's talk metrics for a minute, because we have this big data platform. We're ingesting all of this content and data, which is great, but ultimately metrics matter, because just having the data but having no insight on the data isn't helpful. So what are we doing there?
Well, so we have a new vision for analytics, and it's all about empowering the entire marketing organization, whether you're a CMO or a practitioner. And so we're going to do a few things. One, we're going to unify all of the analytics into a single place for the marketer within the product. We're going to deliver on role-based dashboards, and we'll take some sneak peeks into that. And we're also going to deliver visualizations that bring the data together to create these guided journeys. And we announced email insights last year. We've got a couple more insights to deliver this year as well. But this is a multi-year vision, and we'll talk about what's on the horizon today.
That is awesome. So we're going to look at some real new product that we're coming out with. And you said empower every role in marketing. How are we doing that?
Well, so through these role-based dashboards is one way, but I'd love to just show you some examples.
Let's take a look at some products.
Okay. So we're going to start with a new product called CMO Insights. And this was all about giving a CMO a single place to see everything about the business and to help them chart a course for growth. So what we're looking at right now on the screen is the dashboard. And here the CMO can understand their marketing efforts and whether or not those are paying off.
And this is end-to-end.
End-to-end, yeah. They've got current quarter goals like pipeline and revenue, and they can also see a snapshot of their strategic initiatives as well.
And we're launching this year.
We're launching this year.
Excellent. That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Love that. Great. Thank you.
There's more.
Oh, but wait.
But wait.
There's more.
All right, so moving on, yeah?
So if you think about it, so the CMO is certainly, the critical decision maker or a critical decision maker in the marketing organization, but a marketing organization is much bigger than the CMO. So what are we doing for the entirety of the marketing org?
So again, we're going to empower the entire marketing organization. So we just saw something for the CMO. Now I want to share something that's all about helping marketing prove the business impact of their efforts, and also to identify areas that are underperforming. So the next new product we're calling is Marketing Performance Insights. So let's take a look.
I'm getting the insights theme here. I like it.
So what we can see on the screen is that you can see visibility into the channels and the campaigns that are generating revenue. And so we also have the multi-touch attribution here. And then you can drill into channels to see the programs that are driving the most engagement with your target audience.
I love it. So we're going from marketing practitioner to the CMO, new insight products covering marketing end-to-end in the world of analytics.
Yeah. But I have one more to empower the marketing.
There's more.
One more.
I love
and
that.
this one's exciting because it's for all those practitioners that are in the room. And so we call this next product Web Insights. And
Insight.
Web
Insights. I like it.
I'm just waiting for the video. There we
go.
Okay, so this is a summary dashboard that surfaces the traffic coming from top refers, including conversions from social platforms. And what's cool about this is that you can get something above and beyond what you can get in Google Analytics or in Omniture. You can also see the top companies, regions, and industries that are coming to your website most often. And there's a lot more to this particular product, but we're just giving a quick sneak peek.
I love that. So we've got all these new insight products, all oriented around analytics. We've heard that from you consistently, and we are delivering. And all this is slated for this year, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Awesome. So when we think about the empowerment, I love that. But there's a lot of talk about AI. Now, I don't think that a marketing conference would be buzzword compliant if we did not at least say artificial intelligence.
Sure.
So check. And then we can move on. No, so the reality is that the world of AI is changing how we as marketers think about delivering those personalized and meaningful experiences, but at scale to 500 million of our closest friends. But why does AI matter to the marketer?
Well, mainly because marketers have tons of campaigns out there, like thousands.
Yeah, in some cases, tens of thousands for our customers. Yeah.
And there's all this data, and it's becoming more and more challenging to optimize and be personalized and relevant with the messages that we send. And so that's where artificial intelligence comes in, and we're calling it adaptive engagement.
I like that. So I think AI is wonderful, but everybody's got a different flavor, a different product of what AI is. And the truth about AI is that no one really knows what that ghost in the machine is actually doing. And our goal is to make sure that we are merging the marketer and the machine, but making it incredibly easy to leverage AI. So at Marketo, we've been calling it adaptive and intuitive. Feel free to tweet that. But so adaptive and intuitive. But tell me, Cheryl, so you said adaptive campaigns. How does adaptive engagement work?
All right. Well, first of all, it starts in a very familiar place to many of you, and this is the engagement program. And with the flip of a switch, I can decide if I want to make the content, the channel, and the cadence adaptive. And then the adaptive engine will select the best content to send at the right cadence and to the channel that's best to reach the audience.
So this is the marketer and the machine at the click of a button.
Absolutely.
So is this like the future of A/B testing? It's not like what email did people open more, or what content did they click on in a website, or even what content, which we can do today. We can surface customized content based on predictive algorithms. This goes way beyond that.
Yeah, so this will allow the marketer to actually test a regular engagement stream against an adaptive engagement stream. And the idea there is that it'll allow them to see what's working best for them. It builds trust for the marketer.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I love that.
Cool.
So cool.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, and so there's another big area for us beyond analytics, beyond AI. We launched account-based marketing, or ABM, last year for Marketo. We know that in many respects, especially in B2B, that account-based marketing and sales, or account-based engagement, is incredibly critical to all of you. But we've got more in the works. What are we doing?
Right. So we have a lot we're going to do with ABM this year, and we're going to take it to the next level by introducing features that are all about marketing and sales alignment and ensuring that the data is accurate. So we've got a couple of features, up-to-date account lists that will sync with your CRM, custom fields to support your ABM ecosystem and all the partners out there, as well as account hierarchies that mirror the CRM.
I love that. I love that. So you mentioned sales. I heard that word.
I did.
Now, I know this is a room of marketers, but we love our salespeople. They are so fun. And we know that we manipulate and control them at all points in time. But you mentioned sales. So do we have a new product around that?
Yep, we do. It's actually called Account Insight. So let's just dive right into that. It's a browser plugin for sales. And so we'll take a look at this. So what we can see here is that, let's pretend I'm on a prospect's website. I open the plugin and I see actionable insights, such as the account engagement and pipeline. I can drill in then to what we call best bets and see the recent activity for that person.
So this is like, if I'm a marketer, I can remote control a salesperson like a drone.
Yeah, I guess so.
I love that.
I'll let you say that, not me, though,
yeah.
okay?
Feel free. No one's going to tweet that.
Yeah, okay.
No, we're good.
Well, we'll see about that, right?
Yeah. 7,000 tweets later.
So, and then last, I can see my named accounts at the top. And this is great because it'll help salespeople prioritize their days, going after the right accounts.
I love that. So we have covered a lot of ground. All of our new analytics insights products, from the CMO to the practitioner. We've covered ABM. What else did we cover?
We've covered adaptive engagement.
Adaptive engagement.
Right,
unbelievable. Guys, this I got to tell you, what I love is that while we're working hard on the platform and making it reliable and scalable, Cheryl has just planted the flag of innovation squarely, and along with our Chief Technology Officer, Sean Klopfenstein, who is amazing and brilliant, and all of our developers and product people, we are so intensely proud of you. Cheryl,
Thank you, Steve.
No, I mean it. You are like, I'm going to give you like the ninja pose of awesomeness here.
Do that too?
Yeah, well, you don't have to. I was just like, you are amazing. Everyone, Cheryl, this is amazing, and the product keynote, which is later this afternoon, right?
4:30 today.
You'll get all the deep dives on this, but if we could, let Cheryl know how much we love the fact that she's been here at Marketo for nearly the entire existence of the company, 8+ years. She is your standard bearer for innovation. We love her on our leadership team. Cheryl, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
I'll take that clicker. Thank you. Yeah. Now, it wouldn't be a Marketo keynote without one more thing. So, Cheryl, now we're in the living room.
We are, yes.
How's it going?
Great.
What is this?
It's an Amazon Echo device.
I love that. Can we talk to it?
Can.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that.
Well, why don't you go ahead and start?
Okay. Alexa, tell Marketo this is Steve Lucas.
Sorry, Steve. I only respond to Cheryl Chavez, GVP Product Management.
That is not cool.
Sorry.
I like it. So security works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check. Okay, great. Well, then she's all yours.
All right.
Great.
Let's get her warmed up here for a second. Alexa, ask Marketo, who are the keynote speakers at the MarketingNation Summit?
The keynote speakers are Steve Lucas, Chandra Padabhiram, James Corden, and, spoiler alert, Queen Latifah.
Are you excited to be here?
Hooray! I've always wanted to meet Queen Latifah.
Okay, now to get a little serious here.
Good.
Alexa, ask Marketo for my flash briefing.
Here is your Marketo flash briefing. Open pipeline is 102 million. Closed and won for the quarter is 11.6 million. And opportunities won for the quarter is 91.
Alexa, ask Marketo for my top performing engagement channels by revenue.
Your top performing engagement channel by revenue is paid media.
How much do we spend on paid media?
You have spent 7% of overall budget on paid media this year.
Alexa, ask Marketo to remind me to talk to Chandar about that.
As you wish. Yes. Reminder set. Now, could you set a reminder to introduce me to Queen Latifah?
That was awesome. Cheryl! Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right.
I am so proud of that. That is coming soon. Coming soon to a theater near you. What was amazing is that, I mean, obviously the API integration between Marketo and Amazon with Alexa is awesome, or Echo is awesome. I'm just amazed that, I mean, even when Cheryl was, got the question wrong and started right, not wrong, but started a different way. I love that. It didn't say like, your favorite color is milk. So that was awesome. I love it. Really good. So let me just kind of cover where we've been and where we're going. And I will start where we finished, which is first thanking all of you. You are truly amazing and inspiring to me and all of the Marketoans that work hard every day to ensure that we are engaged with you. We stand on the precipice of something great, the horizon of the engagement economy, and the Marketo engagement platform is here for us today to help make us win, in fact, lead in the engagement economy. And speaking of engagement, in just a moment, you are going to hear from the king of engagement, none other than James Corden, one of our celebrity guests, which we are very excited about. And I want to just wrap up with our vision. Our desire is to elevate marketing, to enable everyone in marketing to build their brand, grow revenue, and prove impact. That is what we sleep, eat, live, and breathe, is to put you, the marketer, in the power seat. And our commitment, our deep commitment to you, is to help you lead in the engagement economy, to help you win, to help you build brand advocates. With the inspiration and empowerment to start engaging, and clearly the technology that you need from Marketo to scale to the demands of this new moment. With that, I thank you for attending our keynote. I thank you for your passion, your leadership. You are truly inspiring to me and all of Marketo. Thank you so much for attending today. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you all.